There is a lot of talk about the immigration changes happening in Mexico right now. So let's just take a deep breath. We're gonna get through this together.
For the best advice about moving to Mexico, subscribe to my channel and hit the bell to be notified when I upload a new episode every Thursday.
If you're new to my channel, welcome, and if you've been here before, welcome back. My name is Alex, and I moved to Mexico from the US in 2017. I've called Querétaro home ever since. I know that many of you follow other Mexico YouTubers and belong to the different Facebook groups that discuss issues related to moving to and living in Mexico. So I'm guessing that there is a pretty good chance that you've heard at least a little bit about the immigration changes happening in Mexico right now. Now, my goal with today's video, aside from initiating a collective deep breath, is to share the information with you that I learned from a conversation with a trusted immigration expert, as well as clear up some confusion, like breaking down the Regularization Program. When subscribers and community members started asking me about the crackdown happening in Mexico, I in turn reached out to Ivonne Pavaan of Host Relocation, who has answered many immigration questions for me since we first met back in December 2020. I fired off a WhatsApp message to Ivonne asking what the heck was going on, and she immediately responded back, and the very first thing that she said was, I quote, "many changes and many misunderstandings." Before we dive into those misunderstandings, let's do a quick rundown of all the changes happening in Mexico. INM, the Instituto Nacional de Migración, has tasked various bureaus and agencies across Mexico with performing random checkups on anyone that those agents may suspect to be foreigners. So they are doing these checkups and they want to see if you have valid documentation that says you are in Mexico legally. These random checkups are happening in the airport, on buses, sometimes even in the street. And when a foreigner is stopped, they are asked to show either a valid FMM, the valid FMM tourist visa with your passport to back it up, or a valid residency card from Mexico. Now, that is a big change, a major change in my book, although I have heard other YouTubers say that they've been asked to present their documentation in the past. I can only speak from my own personal experience, and in all the years that I've lived in Mexico, I've never had anyone ask to see my FMM other than when I was leaving the country. As for my residency card, when I had my first residency card in hand back in December 2020, Yvonne's advice to me was to put it somewhere safe, to not keep it on my person, not keep it in my wallet, to put it somewhere safe where I knew where it was, and to only take it out and use it when I was leaving Mexico and then again when I was re-entering Mexico. She told me no one else is ever going to want to see it, and it's just too much of a hassle, too much of a pain to replace it if you lose it. Now, with the immigration changes that are happening in Mexico, if you want to avoid trouble, both INM and the US Embassy are recommending that at all times, yep, even when you go out for a walk, at all times while you're in Mexico, you either have your FMM with your passport on you or a valid residency card. If you're like me, you're thinking, okay, what about a copy? But no, according to Ivonne, copies will not suffice. You've got to have the original documents on you, because if you're stopped, whoever's stopping you, whether it's a police officer or an immigration official, they may ask to scan those documents. If you are unable to present those documents, there is a chance that you could be detained. According to Ivonne, Mexico's goal with these immigration changes, with this crackdown, is to simply ensure that everyone in Mexico is there so legally. One of the first things that Ivonne said to me during our conversation, and reiterated multiple times, that these immigration changes that are happening, it's not something that foreigners need to be scared of. But foreigners do need to take stock of their situation and, if necessary, take steps to legalize their status in Mexico. That includes people who are living in Mexico on the tourist visa. What I am saying is that if you have been living in Mexico for several years and leaving every 180 days to reset that visa, coming back, if that's been you for some years now, many years in some cases, then it is time to look into other options. Over the past year, INM has revamped and updated its technology. The system got an overhaul, and maybe in the past where they couldn't really keep a great track, a great account of foreigners' comings and goings, now they can, and the agents are they're just keeping a closer eye on that kind of thing. Now, I know that people are going to want a hard and fast number of how many times you can renew your tourist visa before you get flagged, but it is really, like so much in Mexico, it is up to the discretion of the person that you are dealing with. So when you cross the border, when you meet with an INM agent and they are checking your passport, checking your FMM, your paperwork, it is up to them to look at your travel history and decide whether or not you are a constant tourist, perpetual tourist, serial tourist. Basically, it's up to them to decide if you are abusing the tourist visa and using it to live in Mexico. Ivonne told me that it's becoming a lot more frequent that people are getting less than 180 days for their tourist visas if they have a history of coming and going in Mexico frequently. Just recently, she told me that someone got 42 days instead of the usual 180. There's also cases of people getting 7, 10 days. So that 180 days, while it was never necessarily a given, it was the norm. And now that is starting to change. Before we talk about residency in Mexico and the regularization program, if you're finding this video helpful, be sure to give it a thumbs up because that helps to spread this information to more people. Just yesterday, when I was preparing to make this video, I was also messaging back and forth with a friend of mine who has been living in Mexico on the tourist visa for a little over a year now. And to put it mildly, she was kind of freaking out a bit. Hearing all these stories of people not getting the full 180 days, wondering, oh no, what if I fly back to Mexico and I can't get into the country? And I told her, it's time. You need to apply for residency. Just do it. You've got a boyfriend in Mexico, you've got friends in Mexico, you've got a dog in Mexico. Why do you want to risk being separated from that? And at first, she was a little bit resistant, and come to find out she had never looked into residency. And when she looked at the requirements, checked to see if she would qualify, it turns out that she does qualify. And now in the next couple of months, she is going to take those steps to get her residency. Because if you're eligible for temporary or permanent residency in Mexico, why not just do it? That little anecdote, that little story about my friend, I feel like that's INM's goal scenario with all of this. They want foreigners who have maybe, not looked into the residency process for whatever reason to take a look, see if they're eligible, see if they qualify, and if so, to go through the process to apply for residency. On my channel here, I have a whole playlist of videos describing the residency process, telling you how to do it, and I'm going to put a card for a video right here to get you started. Speaking of applying for residency in Mexico, let's talk about the regularization program. There's a lot of buzz, a lot of talk going around about this program, and Ivonne said that she gets emails daily from foreigners wanting to apply for residency through this program, but there's only a certain group of foreigners, a select group of foreigners that are even eligible for this program. So here's the deal. The regularization program is for foreigners who arrived in Mexico in 2019 or prior to 2019. Basically, they got to Mexico, got stuck there during the pandemic, and they've been in Mexico since 2019, before 2019, and they're living there. They want to stay. And this program is an opportunity for them to go through the residency process while staying in Mexico. That means skipping the consulate step. They don't have to leave the country to do that initial visa step in a consulate outside of Mexico. If you arrived to Mexico in 2020 or 2021, you are not eligible for this program. If you do fit the bill for this program and you've been renewing your FMM since 2019, you need to take that present FMM, that valid FMM, to INM, and you'll also have to bring proof of address, your last 3 bank statements to show economic solvency, as well as pay a fee, and you can get residency for 4 years in Mexico. You can also qualify for the regularization program if your residency card expired over the last couple of years. If it expired back in 2019 or prior to 2019 and you've been in Mexico ever since, you'll need to go to INM, you'll have to sit for an interview, bring that old card, and explain why you haven't renewed it. If you don't qualify for the regularization program and you are in Mexico currently on an expired FMM tourist visa, then you need to take action, or you're risking getting caught up in these random checks, getting caught up in these crackdowns, and you don't want to end up detained. So you've got to take action, and here are your options. Your first option is you can leave Mexico, and when you are at the airport, you will have to pay a fine. It's 594 pesos, and that's your fine to leave Mexico in the free and clear. Your second option is that you can go to INM armed with a good reason for why you overstayed your tourist visa and put in an application for another 180 days. You will have to pay a penalty fee, you will have to pay a filing fee, and you'll also have to pay for that new FMM. But that is another option, and if you would like some help with that, Ivonne over at Host Relocation can help you through the process for a fee, of course, and she is helping clients in Querétaro, Mexico City, and La Paz. If you have any questions about the immigration changes that are happening in Mexico right now, or about getting residency in Mexico, go ahead and leave those in the comments below, and I will do my best to answer them. I'm Alex from backpackingbrunette.com. Thanks for watching.